Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer, the Asian Flush Mystery, Protecting Your Heart. We are jumping straight into a fascinating medical mystery today. We're going to start with a really common social reaction and trace it all the way down to the microscopic cellular level of the human heart. It's literally about how a simple physical trait connects to something far, far more serious. Let's get right into it.
Why does a single drink make some people blush? Have you ever been at a dinner party and, you notice someone's face turning bright red after just a single drink? Or, hey, maybe it even happens to you. For years, most of us just kind of brush this off as a minor inconvenience, right? Just a quirky reaction to a glass of wine. But, well, our bodies are constantly talking to us. And this visible reaction, it's actually far from just a social annoyance.
Look at this typical spread of food, some drinks, friends hanging out. It seems completely harmless. But the blush that happens around tables exactly like this one is actually hiding a massive biological clue. It's really just the tip of the iceberg, a visible signal of our invisible internal architecture. And researchers have finally connected the dots between what goes on in this casual setting and how our most vital organ protects itself.
And the sheer scale of this phenomenon, it's absolutely massive. We're talking about nearly 40% of East Asian individuals. That includes Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, and Korean populations. That is literally hundreds of millions of people globally. So this isn't just some incredibly rare, isolated quirk. It's a huge population-level trait, which makes understanding it absolutely critical for global public health.
ALDH2 gene variation. Basically, the root cause of this blush is a variation in this specific gene, ALDH2. This mutation essentially causes an intolerance to alcohol, which triggers that rapid, sometimes intense flushing of the face or even the whole body. And while we see it most prominently in East Asian populations, this ALDH2 mutation actually pops up in smaller proportions all over the world, so it's very much a global piece of the human genetic puzzle.
Beyond the social blush, a hidden cardiac threat. We really need to look past the surface here, because there is a hidden danger. Recent medical discoveries show us that this exact same ALDH2 mutation severely impacts how the heart reacts to acute, massive stress. Specifically, we're talking about what happens during a heart attack. Yep, the same genetic quirk that makes someone turn red after a sip of beer plays a really critical and unfortunately dangerous role when your heart tissue is fighting for its life.
This groundbreaking research was actually published in Circulation, which is one of the world's absolute top medical journals, and it finally provides a definitive biological explanation for all of this. A brilliant team led by Professor Yin-Hu Yang took a super close look at the cellular level, and what they observed completely changed our understanding of this gene and exactly what doctors were seeing play out in emergency rooms.
Ferroptosis. Okay, you might not have heard this word before, but it is the absolute center of this mystery. It's a highly specific type of cell death that acts almost like a toxic internal rust. When a cell undergoes ferroptosis, it suffers this massive, lethal buildup of lipids, which are basically fats, and iron. The cell just overloads on these elements until it completely breaks down. And Professor Yin's team discovered that the ALDH2 mutation actually activates this deadly rusting process inside the heart during a major crisis.
Here is exactly how that deadly chain reaction plays out. First, when the acute stress of a heart attack hits, the body obviously goes into full crisis mode. But because of the ALDH2 mutation, instead of protecting itself, the heart experiences that toxic lipid and iron accumulation we just talked about. Boom, ferroptosis is triggered, and that leads to rapid muscle cell destruction. The heart tissue just degrades so much faster compared to someone without the mutation. So that blush at dinner, it was really just a warning light on the dashboard. This is the actual engine failure happening under the hood. To put this into perspective and bring this out of the lab, let's look at the number 177. This represents 177 actual human lives in a really crucial clinical study of Chinese patients who had unfortunately suffered heart attacks. By focusing on this specific group, the researchers were able to see exactly how this mutation behaves in real, high-stakes emergency scenarios.
And when you compare the carriers of the ALDH2 mutation against the non-carriers, the results are undeniable. The carriers showed significantly weaker heart function after their attacks, and noticeably they suffered a big drop in coenzyme Q10. Now that's a major red flag because it indicates high levels of that cellular rusting. So the data is crystal clear. Having this flush-causing genetic variation directly leads to aggravated, much more severe heart lesions during an attack.
Disarming the threat, the future of cardiac recovery. Okay, I know that all sounds incredibly daunting, but take a deep breath because we are shifting our focus to the really good news here. The most beautiful thing about science is that once we finally understand the exact mechanics of a threat, we can figure out how to disarm it. Finding out that ferroptosis is the main culprit for ALDH2 carriers isn't just bad news, it's literally the master key to unlocking brand new targeted treatments. If we know the cells are rusting, well, we can start looking for the biological rust-proofing.
And those breakthroughs, they are already happening. Experiments using animal models have been incredibly successful. Scientists have actually figured out how to inhibit or basically block ferroptosis. And when they do that, cardiac recovery after a heart attack improves drastically. What's even cooler is that this opens the door to adapting treatments and medications that we already have. Researchers confirm these amazing effects using both genetic adjustments and pharmacological drugs to protect these vulnerable hearts. It is a total game changer.
Could your visible genetic quirks be the ultimate blueprint for your future medical care? Think about it. What started as just a casual observation about turning red after a glass of wine has completely unraveled a complex microscopic mechanism of heart failure. And better yet, it paved the way for life-saving, targeted therapies. So, what other everyday traits are secretly holding the map to personalized medicine? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep looking closely.